Hey everybody, how's it going today? My name is Matthew and we are back with another series of the Left Arts video. So we're back on posture day today, and today we're going to talk about raised shoulders. So in the last few videos in this series, let me bring this up here. We talked about sway back, we talked about thoracic kyphosis, we talked about forward head. Last week we talked about foot position, and we did mention that we are going to touch on lumbar lordosis, but that's not until next week. So that means today we're going to use episode 5 to talk about raised shoulders. So what is raised shoulders and how can we fix it? First of all, you'll see a lot of people that carry a lot of stress in their shoulders. So whether it be from work or from their personal life or whatever, they just tend to bunch up like this. And years and years and years of doing this is something that will definitely cause raised shoulders. Also, the other thing that can cause this is the way you sit at work. Or anything you do that involves sitting all day long. If you spend a lot of time sitting, the position you're sitting in could be leaving you in a tendency to use these muscles, which will pull your shoulders up. So what muscles are causing this? These are the traps right here. So I'm going to bring up a couple of pictures to illustrate the muscles that I'm talking about, just so you can have a better idea where they are in your body. So let's jump to that. So this first picture here is in the highlighted region is the traps. So you can see it's actually quite a large area, running from the base of your skull right down to about your mid-back. So a lot of people, when they say, oh, my shoulders are sore or my shoulders are tight, this is the area they're referring to. It's really not your shoulder. The shoulder is the big ball of muscle just to the left of the highlighted area there. The trap itself, as you can see, is because it's so big, has more than one function. So in this example that we're using today, we're talking about how that muscle gets really, really tight. If you treat right where the line there is saying trapezius, if you treat that area right there as an elastic that goes from the shoulder right up to the base of the skull, if that gets really tight, imagine that elastic getting really tight, what's going to happen? It's going to pull your shoulders up in the air, right? So stress or anything that leads to that muscle contracting over and over and over again is what's going to lead to that muscle eventually being permanently tight. The only way to combat this is to stretch that muscle out or have it massaged or both. Obviously, I would recommend both. The results you will get will be much more drastic if you do both. And you don't have to go to a massage therapist to get a massage. You can actually do a lot of self-manipulation and work that out yourself. But definitely remember that stretching that muscle is going to be super important. So what's the opposite of this? In the episodes that we talked about, the sway back and the one we talked about being hunched forward, all of these things had one thing in common, and that is that we had to stretch one muscle and we had to contract the other muscle. So in this case, what you want to do is we want to work on the lower trap. So as we tighten that muscle and we loosen the top, then it's going to hopefully pull you down into that right position. Now, what's really happening here is the scapula is moving. So let's move over to the scapula picture. So here's the picture of the scapula, or both scapula. The one we're looking at here, we're looking at the body from the back. So the big wing scapula there on the back is what's really shifting when you have raised shoulders. So again, try to imagine the trap that's going from the base of the skull right down to the right shoulder there. And if that's tightening, it's connected right there, that little thin bone that wraps around the front of the body, that's your clavicle. So when that elastic is tightening, that whole clavicle is going to lift up, which is shifting your scapula up as well. So as the scapula shifts, kind of imagine the idea of a bar of soap sliding up the back of your body. And as you do that, you will be able to feel your shoulders shrugging up as you do it. So that's really what's happening with raised shoulder syndrome. So let's go back to the next picture here. So now the final picture that I want to look at is a diagram that's showing the lats. So we talked about the traps. You can still see them in this picture. But now the highlighted area is your lat. So it runs from right under your armpit right down to the base of your spine. Now, this muscle, again, is a lot like the trap in that it does multiple things. So you can work the upper portion or the lower portion. When I'm discussing the lower portion, I'm going to be talking about probably midway up that outer line. You're not going to focus on contracting the lower trap right down by the base of the spine. It's going to be a lot closer to your rib cage. So why are we talking about this muscle at all? We talked about how the lower trap will, as it contracts, will help pull the shoulders down, but the lower lat will as well. Think of any rowing motion and any pulling motion. If done correctly, these will work the lats. So knowing that, how are we going to target the idea of bringing those raised shoulders down? Any row motion, which is anything that's going to be horizontal to the ground, is going to be working more the upper lat in terms of just the lats that are working. There are a lot of other muscles working, but we're not going to get into that today. Anything that's coming down, so a lat pull down, closed grip pull downs, anything like that, chin ups, pull ups, all of these are going to be working the lower lat. So those are the kind of exercises you'd want to focus on to really get that lower lat development, which in turn will help pull your shoulders down. So that's it for the basics on raised shoulders. I will be going into some of these exercises in more detail as this series moves forward. But next week, what we're going to touch on, as we discussed earlier, is lumbar lordosis. And that'll be the final of the 6 main postural problems. And then what we're going to do after that is episodes 7 through whenever, we're going to go into the actual exercises and breaking down the things that you can do to fix these problems. So it'll be a little more in depth, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that because it'll be a little more hands-on in the gym. But that's it for today. Hope you all have a wonderful day. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscriptions are huge for me. They really are what keeps the channel going. So help me out. Do that for me. And we'll be back soon with another video. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.